Well, this is the big reveal. We are installing in the car
Hey guys, welcome back to Troopy Build Part 2.
We're on to the fourth and final piece of the framework of our fit out. We're bloody excited because it honestly just means we're on to bigger and better things next. We've just gone and cut out all of the aluminium that we need to finish this fourth and final piece, which is going to be going above our soon to be revealed big secret that we're going to be installing inside the car. Follow along.
Got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah, let's get it. Final cut. Well, fingers crossed anyway. But then we're on to finishing the fourth and final piece of the fit out. Let's get it.
Hopefully that's the last cut.
Had to do it twice.
What have you done? What have you done?
I've just cut a piece it the wrong way.
So what's that? You're going to make another cut?
I thought the last one was my last and final, but this is the last and final. I did to myself. That's better. Righto, the joys of doing the fit out yourself. So we've currently got all these fixed down, so in the future this won't be a problem, but for now, because we want to make sure that the pieces are exactly where they are to test fit the fourth and final piece. We've just realised in doing so that it does not fit, no matter which way we do it. So, what's the main reason we got a roof conversion? Because it fits like a glove, straight through. Luckily we've got that OU cap. And by the looks of it, luckily we've got gull wing windows too. So obviously with a little bit of push and shove, but we eventually got it into the place where it needs to go. Really happy with obviously the fitment right up against the Troopy wall here and up against like all of the edges of the other pieces now. We've obviously got a really large void here for our secret item, which we will still release a little bit later in this episode. Rightio, so we've just cleared out the back of the Troopy. We've pulled out all of the framework that we obviously just put in, as we know it all fits now. So we've pulled that out because what we want to do is we want to start installing all of our utilities. So like our air compressor and all the air lines, our water pumps and all those water lines, and obviously a lot of power cables and bits and pieces. Along the sides, I was saying earlier in the video that we actually want to utilize these side panels. So we've actually taken off all of the like the MDF side panels, and we're going to keep them off. The reason for that is this is great utilization of space. You know, there's so much, there's a good 70 mil to 100 mil in some spots of depth. So I've just quickly sketched up a bit of a design and gone down to our fabrication shop down the road, and we've just got these little panels made. So just a 3 mil aluminium plate, and I've got them kind of folded up to fit in each of these little sections where I want to use them. So for instance, this section here, the panel kind of just slips in, we'll fix it to the Troopy wall here. What it does is it actually gives us something solid to fix to here inside that section and utilize that space. After a bit of deliberation, we've just worked out a plan. What we're going to be doing is we're going to install the air compressor on this utility panel here. We've got an air tank basically going in underneath the section underneath the car here. It's actually quite a perfect fit. I'll show you once we kind of install that. It's kind of like almost made for the it's kind of made for the Troopy almost. Like it's just a little 4-litre air tank. We got it from Scintex. I will put the link in the description for anyone interested, and we'll kind of show you where it goes. And honestly, it couldn't be any better. It just fits like a glove. And then we're going to be installing our Thorburn's utility panel on the right-hand side. So we're just going to smack out like this little back quarter. We just had to put the fit out in, make sure obviously nothing's clashing with each other. Super convenient, obviously, with like multiple pieces of the fit out, and just being like a light frame at the moment, it's just good to just kind of like chuck it in, chuck it out, make sure everything kind of works, and go from there. So we're going to smack out this air compressor, air tank, and utility panel. What we're doing is we've got a utility panel on the left-hand side of the car, so we're going to have an air outlet there. We've got a utility panel on the right-hand side of the car, and we're going to have an outlet there. And we've also got airbags inside the car, or we're going to have airbags inside the car for when we're towing the boat. So we've got a little outlet here, which is going to come to our manifold. We're going to run from our manifold, and that's all going to be fed off our air tank, which is underneath the car. And then we're going to run from our air tank back to the air compressor. All the safety switches and pressure relief valves are there. We just made sure we had all the right fittings, and we have enough fittings. We've done that now, so we're just going to kind of start assembling the air tank, the manifolds and bits and pieces, ready to kind of like piece it all together. Just got a little battery here to temporarily hook up the air compressor, and I've just wired up a switch for it. Basically what we're doing is just making sure all of the valves, because it's going to go in the car, just in awkward spots. I literally just want to make sure as many of the fittings aren't leaking as possible. On the tank, on the first one, we had a few little leaks, so just a little bit more thread tape, and we've fixed those up. So now we're just going to test, like, obviously the fittings from the air compressor through to the tank, and yeah, we're just going to test it out. Rightio, so there you have it. The pressure switch is tripped out on the air compressor, so means our tank's now to pressure, and theoretically we should be able to just back underneath the car now. We have drilled a couple of holes into the car through this rear quarter panel here. You'll see there's already a couple cable grommets and a couple of drain plugs here for the car. So it's quite easy to access to drill a couple of holes. We've just chucked a couple of rev nuts in here. We are going to use like a thread sealant on them so they don't come loose. And then we're just literally just pre-fed our lines through from the car. But yeah, we'll get it up and we should be able to test it and give it a go. Rightio, so we've just basically finished setting up the air compressor, the air tank and the air lines. Well, as much as we can anyway, without fitting them off into the utility panels. We've fit off the air lines down through onto the air tank. We've brought them up, we've run them into the manifold, or we've connected it to the check valve up here after the air compressor. The air compressor is mounted in solid as. For those interested, it does extrude the panel slightly. but this will be at the back of basically kind of like a utility cupboard. So we're not really concerned about it like coming out a little bit further. So it's what we've kind of designed it for. So we're pretty happy with how it's going so far. So. Alrighty, so we have both of the air vents out of the car now. Basically what we're going to be doing is changing both sides to utility panels. We want to have, you know, some water in on one side, a couple of air outlets either side, a solar point and some bits and pieces. We also want to have like a water outlet on the passenger side of the vehicle where our table is. So we've gone and opted with the Thorburn's utility panel. We have got a little issue though, is we were really trying to find something that we liked. We didn't really find exactly what we wanted. However, we've kind of opted with this one. We aren't going to be using the cover though. The way that it actually operates is you take out these little wing nuts and this flap actually kind of comes out of the utility panel, and this is obviously left on the car. We don't necessarily like that because one, this is going to go walkabout, and two, you're never going to find this again when you lose it in the sand. And knowing our luck, that's the first thing that's going to go on the first trip. So we're not going to be using the actual cover plate. And what we're going to be doing is a little bit of modifications to this and to incorporate the factory air vent. So what we're going to be doing is we like the look of the air vent. The air vent, you know, looks nice on the car the way it is, and it's called an air vent for a reason. There's plenty of other models out there which kind of like 3D print what the air vent does look like. However, that kind of takes away the actual purpose of the air vent. Because it's such a big car, the way the pressure builds up when you close all of the doors, the air that builds up inside the car actually kind of needs to escape, and that's how these actually operate. So for what they are, people always wonder why the 76 or the 78 have them. They're kind of there for a reason. So we want to try and utilize the air vent purpose as well as keeping the utility panel. We've currently got our driver's side utility panel here. We've got a water inlet point, a breather for that tank, an air outlet, and then an unregulated solar input here. And then also on the side, we have cut up the air vent flaps that are on the inside of the existing air vent and actually cut out the side of the Thorburn's pad here and utilize that to incorporate a little like a one-way valve for the air still to escape outside the car. I know it's not, some people may not think it's a big deal, but it was kind of one of my little things that I wanted to make sure that we're obviously still letting some of that pressure outside of the car and not putting pressure on the vehicle where we don't need to. As we are going to be using the Thorburn's cover for the utility panel, we'll throw it on the car and we'll show you what we've done with regard to the cover for it. Let's do it. Okay, so as you can see, this is the utility panel completely fit off and finished. So it looks pretty well standard, which is the best thing we like about it. It obviously looks nice and flush. The only thing you can really see is kind of 3 black pot rivets. Big deal. Simple as is obviously pulling it open, full access to the utility panels, all the bits and pieces you need. Grab your water, or grab your air outlet. Got a little air vent on the side there, and it's as simple as closing it. Pretty bloody happy with how it turned out. So, and basically what we're going to be doing now is we're on to where we're going to be installing our water pumps. So similar to what we've done with the air compressor, is we're going to be installing in this little section here one of these little aluminium panels that we got folded up, and basically on that panel we've got a 3-pump system. So we're going to have 3 individual pumps that kind of get installed onto this panel now. They're going to get put up and then screwed in and put onto the panel. Got our Duetto hot water system here. I'm just kind of test fitting it in to see exactly where we should potentially put it. And we originally thought we were going to put it here on the left hand side, but now obviously as we're putting in the water tank, the water pumps at the back here, we're just kind of contemplating whether, you know, that's a good spot for it, or whether in front of these air compressors is a good spot. I know we kind of might be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I think we're just trying to like think about the future and like more like along the lines of what if a pump fails, or what if the air compressor fails. And
yeah, we just want to make it as easy as possible, because I don't want to put up with him cursing and swearing on the road when something breaks.
Alrighty, we have come to a consensus after a
bit of deliberation.
Yes, a little bit of deliberation, but lo and behold, we're back to where we originally thought that we were going to go. So, but it's good that we actually had a bit of time to talk about it. We've kind of come up with a consensus that it's going to be better off being here. If we have to in the future, we have to pull out the hot water system in order to get into the water pumps, so be it. I have designed the water system so that we've basically got a fail safe. If one of the water pumps fail, one of the other pumps will take up the slack. So pretty happy with, well, what we decided. Yeah.
Time to put the water pumps on and work out how to do it.
Yes. So now just to put all the magic together and go from there. So we've just finished constructing our little piping schedule here on a few little timber boards that we plan to install inside the framework of the car. Basically, we've drew up a set of plans a couple of days ago to work out exactly what we want with regard to the plumbing and the pumps and the pipe schedules. And now we've just kind of whacked all those pieces onto these boards, and now we're going to install these boards inside the framework of the car. We wanted to try and construct as much as we can outside the car, and then just have to like obviously plug and play what we can and make it really easy to install like the fit out and ready to go. So we'll chuck those in and install these into the hot water system and go from there. What we're up to now is we're actually going to be installing some pipe work, or just roughing in what we can inside the fit out to where we have the outlet for our shower. So we've got a tempering valve to control the temperature of the shower. This is going to be our shower outlet point on the side of the car, which is a nice little quick connect fitting. And then we've also kind of got a couple of little switches here that we're going to be using to turn just the pumps on and off. And we've also got in this section here a large pipe coming through here that we want to make sure that we're put out of the way, and obviously nothing all fouls with each other. And some of you may be asking, what the hell is that large that pipe for? Well, this is the big reveal. We are installing in the car an air conditioner, a Truma underbunk air conditioner, and we're going to be installing it inside the Troopy up on the back section here of the car. We are pretty excited because, look, we may be a little bit soft, but it gets hot out there, and I'm a Friggy by trade, so I thought if you can, you must, as a wise man once told us.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're pretty excited. Like we said, we don't think anybody's installed an underbunk air conditioner inside a Troopy before. We've got to cut some pretty big holes inside the car, which is going to be a little bit tedious, but we've got a plan for that. So we're pretty excited, but we just had to rough in the pipe work in the back side of the fit out here in order to make sure, obviously, our drawers don't foul at the back, make sure our pipe work fits, make sure where we're going to be installing like these little outlets and the switches and stuff is all not going to kind of hit in with each other. So at least that way now we're ready to kind of put the fit out in, make sure she's all going to work,
and then start putting all our paneling on, start constructing some drawers and kind of go from there.
Alrighty, just before we end the episode, we thought we'd just show you where the aircon's actually going physically inside the car. As you would have kind of saw last time, we left that little space inside the framework of the car for the aircon. Well, lo and behold, that's where it is going. We've kind of dedicated that space specifically for it up behind the passenger seat of the car here. And it really fits in quite nicely. We've still got plenty of storage above it and beside, and that's why we had to end our drawer kind of like about 200 mil in front of the aircon for the specifications of the return air there. So if you've got any questions about the aircon, or if you know anybody who has installed one inside a Troopy, yeah, we'd be kind of interested to know any information or what you actually think about us installing an aircon inside our Troopy. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. It's coming soon. Thank you very much for watching.